All right, I already made a video talking about why I think Georgia will blow out the Oregon Ducks. Now, by blowout, I mean they're going to cover that 17-point spread. I think Georgia scores in the 40s and wins by over 20 points. That's what I think by Georgia blowing out Oregon. That's what I think is going to happen. But let's flip it over and let's look into the other possibilities, the bad possibilities for Georgia. What would it take for Oregon to beat them? How many things would have to go wrong? So let's flip it over and let's talk about Oregon, what they need to do to beat Georgia, what Georgia would have to do to lose that game, because I do think it's Georgia's game to lose. I think they're that much better than Oregon. And yeah, I am wearing a Falcons shirt that says Rise Up because I'm heading to Atlanta here in an hour or so. And Rise Up. That's what I have to say about that. Ryan Curley from Dog Post here talking about the Oregon game and what might go wrong. What would it take for Georgia to lose that game? As always, make sure you're checking out DAWGSTRUCTION, our insider book, and look at the 2021 National Championship run for the Georgia Bulldogs. You're not going to get those stories and images anywhere else than from the Dog Post crew. Let's talk about Oregon. I got Dan Lanning up behind me because I think he is one of the reasons that things could go well for Oregon. Now, I am on the record of saying, and I do believe this, that he didn't have enough time to prepare for this game, right? 9 months, new program, establishing yourself as the leader, transfers, not that they're ragtags and they're bad players, but ragtags as in it's a random group of people who haven't really played football together. And that's true when it comes to Oregon. There's a lot of new faces on the defense that they got from all over the country. New quarterback in Bo Nix. But Dan Lanning does know the Georgia football program because he just spent the last few years in it. And he was the defensive coordinator for the National Championship Bulldogs 9 months ago. All right. I think Dan, for himself, made a smart decision in coaching throughout the playoffs, even though I think just a couple days before the Orange Bowl is when news broke that he was taking the Oregon job. I remember that pretty well. And so I think that for Lanning, he made the right choice because he got to be a part of a championship run and see what it takes, see what Kirby does, know his tendencies. So yes, Dan Lanning knows how the Georgia defense operates. A lot of the guys on Georgia's defense, he recruited, okay? Even though they haven't been on the field a lot, some of them have. Jalen Carter has been on the field a lot. Keely Ringo and others have been on the field a lot. I'm not naming everybody. But there's a lot of guys that haven't been on the field a lot. And regardless on if they're, new faces, old faces just haven't played a lot, Dan Lanning had a big part in their recruitment and their development. So he does know how the Georgia defense works, okay? So that's one of the reasons that Oregon has a leg up in this game. And it does matter. It does matter. I don't think it matters 100%, but there is an element of familiarity between Dan Lanning and the Georgia football program, and I don't think that can just go unsaid. Now, another thing is, fine. We'll do a little Stetson Bennett. We'll do a negative Stetson Bennett talk because I have been talking about Stetson in a positive light the last few months, and I get a lot of hate for that, actually, across our platforms. I get some hate for that. Not from the faithful Dog Post fans, but yeah, I do. So, okay, if Stetson comes out and throws picks and does bad Stetson the way that we've seen him do at times, that's not good because you need the ball to score. And if he's throwing bad interceptions, which I think he has cleaned that up for the most part. You know what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about just interceptions happen, all right? The best quarterbacks throw interceptions sometimes. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the interceptions where you're shaking your head, you're scratching your head. It's like, why did you throw that ball, Stetson? If Stetson makes throws like that, which I'm not predicting, but still possible, then that's another way Oregon can do this game. I think if Oregon comes out striking really fast, against a Georgia defense that hasn't played a lot together, I think that's another way that they could, catch Georgia off guard. If they come out and just start scoring in the first quarter, a couple touchdowns, you move the ball really fast against the Georgia defense, and they don't know what they're doing, then yeah. But Georgia's defense is really fast, so I'm trying to look at all the sides here. This is, what can Oregon do? Here's what my opinion is at the end of the day. At the end of the day, I think that if Georgia lost this game, that's probably Kirby Smart's fault. And Usually, the last couple of years, when Georgia lost, it was Kirby's fault because Georgia has been the better team in almost every game they've played. And they were the better team than Alabama last year, and they lost in the SEC championship by more points than they probably would have ever thought. And at the end of the day, that is a coaching issue because there were adjustments that could have been made that weren't. That I think, I'm not a football genius, but I know that certain adjustments would have been beneficial to the Georgia Bulldogs in that SEC championship game. So because of how much better I think Georgia's roster is than Oregon's, now Oregon is a great roster. It is definitely a top 15 roster in college football from a talent standpoint. But Georgia's is definitely at least a step above. It is, and that's just the case. So if Georgia were to lose this game, I think a lot of the blame would fall on Kirby Smart's shoulders because are you going to let Dan Lanning out coach you? Is that what it's going to take? Because the vibe I get from the Georgia players in these press conferences and at practice, and when I talk to some of them on the side, if I just see them in passing, the vibe is they're ready to hit other people and they're ready to play Oregon. That's what I've gathered. So I think the Dogs are ready, and I do think that would fall. And this isn't like I hate Kirby Smart. That's not what this is about. It's not that. It's just, man, if Georgia loses to Oregon, I do think. Blame, if you're placing blame, I think a lot of that would go on Kirby and the coaching staff's shoulders because maybe they just didn't make the right adjustments. Those are the things that can maybe go wrong for Georgia. But I think the offense is really good for Georgia. I think that they're going to score a lot of points. I don't see Oregon being able to stop them really, so that's why my prediction's in the 40s. But yeah, things can go wrong, and we see it happen all the time in college football. So Georgia's not just safe, but I do think they're the better team. Anyway, I wanted to explore some of those options with you, give you the other side, so you had both, and it's out there. I'm heading to Atlanta, and I'll see you guys. I'll see you at the game, and I'll see you on the site, dawgpost.com.